Hello and welcome to Sammy's Midnight Hour. I'm your host, Sam, and with me as always, my wife and co-host, Tish.
Good evening, everyone.
And tonight, we've got a couple of more ghost stories for you. Getting closer and closer to Halloween, almost the big day, so like to know anybody what your guys' preparations are out there, you know, what kind of decorations you put up. And
how much candy did you buy?
And how much candy did you buy?
We bought...
Too much.
We bought like 20 pounds. We bought like 20 pounds of candy.
We're hoping for lots and lots of trick-or-treaters, and if not, lots and lots of candy for us. So, tonight, Tish is going to kick it off, so go ahead.
We want to give a quick shout-out to Rita Arnold. We are reading from her book, two of her books tonight, The Ghost of Dark County, Part 1 and Part 2. So, we're going to read first from Part 1, and the story that we're going to read, or I'm going to read tonight, is called The Haunted House. And I believe we know where this haunted house is just by the description. Just by the description. We'll just leave it like that. Okay. All right. Picture this. A haunted house right here in Dark County. Is this possible? Why not? Located north of Greenville is a beautiful, large, two-story red brick Victorian farmhouse that sits back from the road at the end of a long, winding drive. Drive in and you will see this wraparound front porch with white gingerbread needing a coat of paint. Looking around the property and you will see the house surrounded by large maple oak trees, which are probably older than the house itself. Behind the house are a couple of large, worn barns with fenced-in pastures. The barns and the pastures fencing have peeling paint, boards have fallen from the fencing, and the barns are starting to sag and lean to the east. Important to know, east.
Going east.
This house was built sometime in 1880s and has had many families reside within the walls. In recent years, no one has owned the house for more than just a few years. Many of the residents report the same events during their stay. Some people in the county know of the stories associated with this house, but they tell of many different reasons for the happenings. Is the story of this Indian woman killed on the property correct? Or is the story that the spirits of two spinster sisters who died on the property and do not want anyone living there correct? Could the story be true that a grandpa who lived there with his son's family is still protecting his children? Different residents have reported a variety of sounds and unusual events happening in the house while they lived at the location. The ownership of the property would change, but the strange goings-ons would remain the same. That's hard to say. Goings-ons.
Oh, such goings-on.
Thank you. That was perfect. There were times when the sound of music box could be heard from the children's bedroom. The parents were sure that she had not turned on the music box and started up the stairs. As she entered the room, the music would stop. This happened several times until the child outgrew the need for afternoon naps. Many years later, when the family would discuss living in this house, the daughter talked about remembering a man who would sit on the edge of her bed while she took her afternoon nap. The families all agree that at various times during the night, the lights would turn on with no one visibly in that room. The faucets would turn on without any help from the family. Then there were times when the living room floors would shake when everyone was sitting in their chairs. As the vibration would move through the rooms, and the objects in the rooms would shake as well. This would continue as the vibrations made their way to the back door and to the outside, as if someone very heavy, perhaps wearing boots, was stomping through the house. These families reported times at night when the beds would shake and the rocking chairs would rock and when no one was sitting in them. Some of the owners reported slamming of doors and pianos playing by themselves. This was definitely not a player piano. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And you're sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah, and I think I know where that house is, which is kind of cool. Yeah, but we won't talk about that because I think people live there now.
And they don't want to know about it.
And they don't want us to talk about it, so we're not going to. They'd have to. No, we'd have to ask them, and we did not ask them permission for that, so we'll keep that a secret.
All right. The next story is called The Building. It says, years ago, cement building for a service organization was constructed south of Greenville on the main highway in and out of town. This was a time when there were very few businesses or buildings or any type in this area. The building was surrounded by farmland with just a few businesses nearby. This organization was open to men and women over the age of 21. Unfortunately, after many years of service to the community, membership started to decline and eventually the organization disbanded. While active, this group held many social events in their building. Dinners, dances, and family social gatherings were always well attended. Also, the social room was often rented out to non-members for wedding receptions, anniversary celebrations, and graduation parties. As Greenville continued to grow in population and size, soon the building was surrounded by other businesses. The highway was widened to carry increased traffic. Widened. Okay. After years of being located in this building, the group could no longer afford to maintain the property or pay the taxes. They decided to rent a space in a different location of town and sell their building to raise some money, some much needed money. After the organization moved to the new location, the building stood empty and unused. Many months passed before the building was sold to a local business. The new owners decided that the building just needed some minor repairs and painting. The structure of the building was found to be very sound. As time went by, the new owners noticed that the construction workers never worked alone, except when working outside the building. They only worked in pairs to do the interior repairs. In fact, the workers always entered the building in pairs. They would meet their partner outside and then go into the structure. But the contractors never complained about working in the building. After the repairs, updating, and general sprucing up were completed, the owner moved the inventory into the renovated building. One day, 2 employees went into the building to check on the inventory. Suddenly, a loud, piercing scream was heard. There was no radio or television in the building. After a careful search of the building, it was determined that they were the only occupants of the premises. The employees looked at each other and quickly left the building, like anybody, with a brain would. They agreed to never tell anyone other than any other of the workers that this happened, because I can imagine if you'd have told the other workers, they'd have said, well, we'll see you later. A few weeks later, 2 other employees entered the building. While there, they heard distinct loud footsteps. Checking the building, they found no one else inside the building. These employees quickly left the building, agreeing to never tell anyone what happened. Seems like a lot of that seems to be going around. What caused the noises? Did some tragedy happen on these premises? Old-timers around town cannot recall any tragedy that happened in the building or near the building. No fires, no one became seriously ill, nor did anyone die in the building. Nothing unusual ever seemed to have happened in the location. Maybe that is why so many happy special family events were held there. Or Did something happen there that has been kept secret to the public? We will never know. What happened?
Spooky. Spooky.
Very spooky.
So I talked to my mom. I was telling her, I asked her if she'd read or she'd listened to the last podcast called "Don't Go Messing with That Ouija Board," and she snickered and laughed, and she said, "Well, you got to tell them about the house on Crumrine." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And you know, as a child, I didn't even think about it until she talked about it, and I was like, "Yeah, I could tell them the story about that." So we lived in a house on Crumrine Road, which anyone that's from Darke County, they know it's a road that's off 36, and it was a big 2-story farmhouse, and my parents bought the acreage there in the farm, and I was probably I was a late teenager, I believe, when I lived there. My sister had already moved out and gotten married, so, and there were many times that we heard. I slept upstairs. There was 2 bedrooms upstairs. The stairs is it was an odd place, I thought. The stairs were in the middle of the house. Like, it was a straight, you know how usually stairs are like on the side of a house? Right. Not inside, but on the, like
right,
an outside.
Kind of side, yeah.
On a side wall. Hmm? No, these stairs were smack dab in the middle of the living room. And they went up into the bedroom area. So, but you could hear at night, you could hear people walking up and down the stairs. And there was nobody there. And my dad said, and my mom agreed, that when they were there alone, like if I was working or I wasn't home, they could hear like a music box. And that's why I chose the story, that we chose. Mm-hmm. Because they could hear a music box playing, and they could never figure out where it was coming from. It wasn't coming from upstairs. Like, they couldn't pinpoint it was coming from the closet or from downstairs. It was just kind of radiating throughout the house, and there was no real place, I guess. Mm-hmm. And they would also hear music playing in the household as well, not just like the music box. And Mom had told me a little bit about that. And then I'm thinking about that. Now, I never heard music in the house, but I did. Sleeping upstairs, there were many times that it's hard to explain on a podcast, but it's when you would go up the stairs, there was a railing to the right hand side, and my bed was right there. So if someone came up the stairs, I would see the top of their head before I actually saw their whole body. Right. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Through the railing. And there was many times that I would be like peeking, going, looking to see who's coming up the stairs. Right. I figured it was Mom or Dad, whatever. And I would hear the footsteps and look, and there was nothing. There was nobody there.
Right.
Yeah. So that happened quite a bit in that house. That was those stairs. But, we have that here as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be down here doing my homework, and I can hear things going on upstairs.
Yeah.
Things that I don't want to know about.
Well, nobody lives up there.
Yeah.
So, unless maybe we got a squatter. Isn't that what they're called? A squatter? Maybe I said that wrong. Don't they call them something where they live in your house and they live in the walls? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but
it's not called a squatter, is it? Anybody that knows me know I make my own words up. You just got to be around me for an hour and you'll learn all my Tishisms. Yeah, it's funny. It's called something else, but I can't remember what it's called.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Hopefully you guys know what we're talking about.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because if you don't, I apologize. I just apologize. I don't know what to say. But I had that story in my mind. I had talked to Mom, and she was like, yeah, you got to tell them about the house on Crumrine. Mm-hmm. And I thought about that, and I thought, and I forgot to ask my sister. I forgot to ask her if she had heard anything. But I don't think she ever lived there. I'm trying to think back, but I believe that she was already married and had moved away. So I don't believe that she ever lived in that house. So she might not have experienced anything spooky,
right?
If you will, according to most spooky hunters or whatever, haunted hunters, most everything can be explained, with like water pipes or
your heater
kicking on and the pipes are coming through and it's
pipes are rattling.
Yeah, they have a way of explaining stuff, but music boxes and music, I think, are a hard thing to sell. That's a hard thing
you can't say that was a pipe rattling or
Yeah. That's hard to explain.
Right.
That you hear a music box or you hear music playing, and there's no. And this was before cell phones. Well,
Right.
cell phones had just come out, but this was way before you could download an MP3 onto your cell phone. And like it was an alarm going off of some sort.
Right.
No.
And nobody could explain it. Well, that was just my toilet flushing. We've got this weird thing hooked up where it plays music, So.
You think it plays the bagpipes? Because I'm thinking when you flush, it plays the bagpipes. I don't know. That's probably TMI. That's too much information. These people
Carries
don't want
it
to know.
home.
Yeah,
Carries it home.
It's TMI. They don't want to know this kind of stuff. I'm just saying. But that's my other haunted story. That's all I got. That's all I got. I was trying to think of anything else, and I should have talked to Mom a little bit, but we were kind of busy today, so I didn't have a chance to talk to her. So.
I want to see some Halloween decorations. Now, I put some on of some of the ones that I have, and that's not even half of what I have. But I just didn't feel like putting them all up this year. I want to see some of your guys' decorations. I want to see what you got. Put them on the website there. I want to see what you guys have put out. Pumpkins. I want to see your pumpkin carvings and all that stuff. Again, would love to hear the ghost stories. Would love to.
I think they're too chicken.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they don't want to relive them.
I think our listeners are chicken.
I think our listeners are a little bit frightened of their own ghost stories.
And did you hear the witches thing at the beginning? I got to tell you, that's my voice. I just
want
to let you know.
Just
that's
so everybody
me.
knows.
I am a jack of all trades, master of none. But I I can do that cackling pretty wickedly. Yes, interesting to say.
Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, definitely. But. Yeah, they could put it on the Facebook, the Facebook group. That would be awesome.
I would love to.
Yeah,
I'd love to see the stuff.
Is anybody else watching horror films too? I think there's a few on the group. I see.
There might be.
Yeah, Jason was watching some.
Yeah, there might be.
Yeah. Was Liz watching anything?
I would imagine.
Yeah. I love her.
I do. I do it every year. 31 days, 31 horror movies. So.
Sometimes I gotta bow out, people. I'm just gonna tell you. There's a movie right now. What's it called?
I've been watching it with The Terrifier.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I cannot watch this movie. No.
Art the Clown did her in.
I can't do it. If y'all can watch it, you're better, because I can't do it. I can't watch it. There's another one called The Strangers. Yeah. I don't know if y'all have seen that. And no, this old girl ain't watching that.
Can't do it.
No, I can't do it.
Won't do it.
I won't do it. No, he makes fun. He makes fun of me, guys. Yeah, he makes fun. He says, "Oh, we're going to watch The Strangers tonight." I said, "Well, I'm going to my mom's." I'm not watching it. No way.
I ain't doing it.
No, there's several that I just cannot watch.
And I can't wait to see the new Terrifier that came out, part 2.
You're on your own.
I've heard pretty good things about it.
Get your barf bag. You're on your own.
And I can't. Well, they said that they're handing out vomit bags at the movie theater. So it's got to be great. If they're handing out vomit bags, it's got to be great.
I guess.
There's another movie I need to see too that's called Smile.
Ooh, now I've heard good things about that.
Yeah.
Creepy.
A lot of creepiness in that.
Heard it's creepy. Mm-hmm.
Lots of creepiness in that movie, but hopefully it's good. So, like I said, tell me. I want to know about the movies you guys been watching too. If you've been watching horror movies, what have you been watching? I'm always interested in stuff like that.
We just got done watching Frankenstein.
Yeah, the original
Frankenstein. I love that movie.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite. Dracula, the originals.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking about the original.
We're talking about the black and whites.
Yeah. Those are some of my favorite movies.
I love those movies.
And I told Sam, I said, we have to watch Young Frankenstein after we watch Frankenstein, because we're always quoting the movie.
Right.
Abby Normal. If anybody if anybody watches that, they'll know. Yeah, I love that movie. It's so funny. It's hilarious. I love that.
It is a great movie. Mm-hmm. Great. It's a classic.
It is a classic, but not. It's a horror film that you could watch
with everybody.
I guess 13.
Yeah, 13 and up.
You got to use your own judgment.
Yeah, a little bit of sexual innuendo in there.
It is, yeah.
Yes.
So it's
what knockers?
Yeah, it's got a few things in it that might be inappropriate for the youngins, but overall, it's a good.
Still a good flick. Mm-hmm. Still a good flick.
Anybody watching Tim Burton? Tim Burton's are my favorite.
Yeah.
I could sit and watch.
I just watched Edward Scissorhands for the first time ever.
Can you imagine?
Never seen it before.
He'd never seen. He loved Vincent Price, and he's never seen Edward Scissorhands.
Never seen Edward Scissorhands. But I have seen, stuff like, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Corpse Bride is one of my favorites.
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, I like
that?
Sweeney Todd. Yeah, I like that one.
Sweeney Todd.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did like that one too.
Sorry, I had to get a quick drink there. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's been fun. It really has been fun this making this podcast and doing the haunted stories. I think we're gonna do one more week of haunted stories.
I think we're gonna
and then we need to pull together the story about Denny and Kim. We're gonna pull that together. We've got a lot of information, a lot of help from the chief of police. We're thankful for him for taking time to speak with us, and yeah, that should be a really good one. And I just hope that somehow maybe someone knows something about that story that they contact the police about, something small that you didn't.
A small detail that you thought was insignificant.
Right, and it really wasn't. So definitely, it could be very significant, even small details. Definitely. Well, let me do some housekeeping here. We want to thank our associate producer, Paul Hodson. He does all of our music for us, and we're thankful to him. He is working on some new music for us, which is really cool, and we're download that. We may have that for not the next podcast, but the one after,
right?
Because he's in midterms right now at school, so we may not be able to pull that together that fast, but definitely we're gonna do another some ghost stories next week, and then after the next week after that, we're gonna do the story on Kimberly or Kim Stefan, 33 years old, and Dennis Young at 55, and they are both Greenville individuals that passed away 25 years ago, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe it's been 25
I believe it's been
years.
been that many years.
It
Yes.
does not
yes.
seem like that. Wow, it doesn't seem like that. Our website is sammysmidnighthour.wixsite. So sammysmidnighthour.wixsite.com/my-site. You can also find us on Facebook at Sammy's Midnight Hour, and it's a public forum, so you can join that and post pictures. We've got all kinds of friends on there that post creepy photos and all kinds of stuff. We got Raymond put what was that Steelers stuff?
Well, he put something on there that said Steelers, and I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, honestly, people in Pittsburgh aren't Steelers fans, so.
We could be making we could probably making some people mad at this.
Yeah, and that's good.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
You're okay with it. All right. Okay. I know. Well, I think that's all we got for tonight.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
that's it. That's all we got. I got all the housekeeping stuff done. Well, again, let's thank Rita Arnold.
Yeah.
For her ghost story books. It's called. She's got 3 books, guys. It's a nice blue book and a yellow book, and there's a pink one we don't have.
We're still in its search.
We're still searching. We're still searching for that.
Still trying to find that book, the pink one.
Still searching. But it's called Ghosts of Dark County. There's one is 1, 2, and 3, and it's by Rita Arnold. She's a local. What do I want to say?
Author.
Thank you. I couldn't figure out what the word I wanted. She's a local author, and these stories are great because these are just local stories about Dark County and the surrounding areas, and it's just great.
Fun stories.
Basically. That are really neat to do. So, yes, definitely. Yeah, I think that's all we got.
That's it? Okay. Well, just remember, everybody, when you lay down tonight in bed and you don't have your feet quite covered up and you feel that tickle underneath your foot, and, you maybe should have went ahead and covered yourself all the way up because that hand may just reach out and grab you tonight.
Who sleeps with all the closet door closed?
Yeah.
And because I do, the closet has to be closed. I have all kinds of stuff packed underneath my bed so nobody could get underneath there.
Is that a monster in your bed? Under your bed? Possibly. But
if you're under the blankets, they can't get you. That's what I've always
been told.
Could
be somebody else just with a feather going coochie 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 coo. This has been Sammy's Midnight Hour.
Good night, everybody.